mean, and maybe start talking about some of your favorite first round matchups. Also, we'll get it put together. We will have the morning hookup bracket. We'll get it set up. World Baseball Classic as well. My goodness, it gave USA last night. That was fun. The Players Championship was exhausting to watch as well. Evan Blam, Omaha World Held. It was a winning Husker weekend, by the way. Look at baseball, softball, both men and women hoops teams. It was an electric weekend. Elijah, you're back. Welcome home from your journey to Big Ten.
Thank you. That didn't get to see much of out there, honestly. One game, and then, I guess I'm just hanging out in Chicago now.
Well, it's okay. I'm sure you had some St. Patty's Day and B-Day fun in Chi-Town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the most part, yeah.
The voice sounds a little
raspy. I know, right?
That's
just
been
put it out there.
I think that's been just allergies killing me.
No,
they're not as bad today, but yeah.
That's fair. All right, buddy. Well, glad you made it back.
Yeah,
safely.
that was also all the screaming on the road home yesterday.
Oh,
it was terrible. I've never had a more terrifying driving experience to Western
Iowa. Thinking about that because I know yesterday a lot of people, boy, it was a weird little storm thing, the winds and all that, and the whiteout conditions, and thinking about everybody that was involved at the, I want to say just my micro 421-ish, somewhere up in there in I-80, or like a 25 plus car pileup.
Yeah,
my goodness.
Big time.
My goodness, that is, you never want to see that, hear that. That, man, I mean, I know what to say about it because that's so wild. And in the conditions that were given to us over the last few days.
Yeah, it's weird. Welcome to Nebraska. It was super nice last week. Lived our best lives. Later on this week, we're going to be living our best lives in the mid 80s.
Yeah. Were you throwing pictures? We tried to throw some pictures up there.
No, I'm trying to get the right background for our stream. It was incorrect, but I think I have it right now. Here momentarily.
But a lot of that. Also a big week coming up. Where do you want to go? Selection Sunday yesterday, boys.
Yeah.
What probably as you're looking at and being from Lincoln, being around all this, that had to be one of the most anticipated days for a hoops team, both hoops teams, men and women, because the women were sitting there going, ooh, they took that early exit after a big lead in the Big Ten tournament. They had to wait, 11 or 12 days to find out that they get in as an 11 seed, 11-11 game. They'll play Wednesday, ESPN2, I believe it's 6 o'clock on Wednesday. How many of you watched that? I watched the bracket. You were coming back, I believe, weren't you?
I had it plugged in on the phone. By that point, I was to Highway 6 going around that big crash, so I had it plugged in.
Yeah.
Well, I was trying to race back here. We were doing a reaction show for the average shows as soon as I got back. But
well, I'm glad you didn't race back. Made it safe back.
Yeah, no kidding.
But sitting there watching it as every possible scenario started popping up. Obviously, Nebraska didn't do themselves any favors down the stretch to solidify the 3 spot. They were the number 1 4 seed. If you look at the way it was ranked, they were 13th out there. But again, as each region was passing, because whether you were looking at Joe Lunardi's final say or CBS or bracketology, 3 or 4, where are we going to get the 3 in Oklahoma City? Where are we going to get the 4 in Oklahoma City? Where are we going to get the 4 and get us sent to Portland? Andy Katz, you're always wrong. Never listen to Andy Katz. Okay? Get out. Anybody with the last name Cat, get out. But ultimately you get that because you kept saying Portland, okay, don't do that to us. And you kept saying, oh, maybe San Diego. No, don't do San Diego. It was like doing double dutch, right? As you're watching it. And it gets unveiled that you are the 4 seed in Oklahoma City, 11:40 tip on Thursday, taking on Troy.
Yeah. Whenever you saw Virginia get that 3 seed, that was they bounced Nebraska.
Yep.
Because Virginia,
I would tell you rightfully so, by the way.
I think Nebraska may have a better season-long resume than Virginia, but Virginia's been the much better team as of the last month and a half.
Yes, and I think as you look at that as well, they made it to their conference championship Sunday.
Yeah.
They made it there.
Yeah.
I think going with that, if you look at the way Nebraska got ranked 13th, if Nebraska would have won 1 game in the Big Ten, they're the 3 seed in Oklahoma City.
Oh, for sure. It was just too much of a collapse at the end of the season with too many losses that piled up. And then not great losses either sometimes, right? Like when you lose to Iowa and you lose to UCLA.
The Iowa road game, I mean, I think UCLA showed that they got much, much better as the year went on. And they were hot at the last month-ish of the season. They kind of showed that in the Big Ten tournament. I mean, they were probably the closest team to actually knocking off Purdue. Purdue was in control of Michigan through much of the second half of that Big Ten title game. I thought that final score was closer than the game would actually deserve to be. But I mean, look at Purdue in the Big Ten tournament. That felt bad on Friday night, and then you saw them just kind of roll through the rest of the Big Ten. They're a veteran team that knows how and when to turn it on. And though they struggled in the latter half of February, I think they showed, hey, with Kaufman, he's played a lot of basketball and a lot of basketball in March. Braden Smith's played a lot of basketball and a lot of basketball in March. Laurie, you can say the same thing. I think those guys just know when to turn it on, and they turned it on big time this weekend. They're playing some of their best basketball. I would not be shocked if they made a Final Four type run. I mean, they were a preseason, was it top 3 team?
Yep. They were preseason number one.
Number one for a reason. They got great talent. If they turn it on and are playing their best basketball, I think they can be almost anyone in the country.
Those would be one of the teams that we'll talk about in the next segments. We're talking total bracketology. Those are the type of teams that we've talked about, saying who's playing the best going into the postseason.
Yeah. Well, it's unfortunately not Nebraska, but I'm not completely discouraged by the result in Chicago, because that Purdue team was just they were on another level.
I don't want to make excuses for Nebraska, but the way Purdue is set up too matches up with exactly what Nebraska wants to do. Like it gives Purdue a ton of advantages with how we are schemed to play against them.
Mm-hmm.
So like I said, like Nebraska didn't play well at all, but the way Purdue plays goes exactly against what our strategy is. So
yeah, absolutely. Doc, talk about that a little bit. He just mentioned veteran leadership, older teams. You've played on one. You were one of those guys on a team that, like, the characteristics of that, because there is something to be said about a team like Nebraska. Nebraska is going to go into this thing with a veteran older team, right?
Right.
And trying to stable the minds, stable the nerves of the kids, the younger kids who are walking into these big gyms for the first time in their lives on the biggest stage with this will be the most watched 1140 tip in the tournament. Okay. Because we all know they haven't won one. That's what we're talking about, right? That's all we're talking about. They haven't won one. 0-7.
Right. I think it's a little different in basketball just because it's a smaller group, right, of players. And it's so common anymore for these freshman phenoms to come through and just take over basketball games. I think it's great having all the upperclassmen and the seniors and they haven't really been there though, right? And so you're going to play against teams where they're perennially in the NCAA tournament. And so a lot of those players have a lot more experience than ours do with those kind of environments. And then you add on the fact that, well, yes, you have the chance to literally make history at Nebraska, right? Like everything else leading up to this has been great, right? Have the chance to have the most wins ever in a season, have the chance to actually win an NCAA tournament game.
In one game on Thursday.
In one game on Thursday, right? There's a lot of those little things. As long as they can do their best to just go play, we should be fine. But there's a lot that goes into that, just blocking it all out. And so it will be helpful to have that upperclassman style leadership on there, right? And then also just the kind of attitude that Nebraska's brought to basketball all season, where you just go grind, right? That'll help in blocking on, and it'll also help having to be a home game, right?
Yep.
It'll absolutely help having to be a home game. So
I was just going to ask that too, where all you guys, your opinions on that, because I'm reading Paycom sits about 18,000. Oklahoma City is no stranger, by the way, of having 18,000 a night. I'm reading upwards of maybe 15,000 Husker fans. What that'll feel like for them. Is it the added pressure, or would be the comfort of home for them, of that many Husker fans being there to maybe at some time will them to a victory?
No, I think it's more comfort at home. I think it's great having your own fan base there, right? Like, I don't know how that would be much of a detriment at all. I don't think it'll add any pressure to the situation. I think it's just, Nebraska fans travel extremely well. And so it's not like they haven't been traveling to games this season too. And so our players are used to seeing a ton of Nebraska fans at the road games. And it's no different than volleyball, right? We go somewhere and just take over an arena.
And to add to this, it's less going to be a nervous environment like you had in Memphis. And Memphis, you were against a team at Texas A&M. They also travel pretty well, so they had their own contingent there. But Nebraska fans were nervous going to that one because you saw the draw on Selection Sunday and you said, ooh, an SEC team. They have great talent, haven't quite lived up to it, but look at the athleticism. Like you were nervous about that one. You look at this Troy team, and the one thing you look at is, okay, they offensive rebounded pretty well. That's been an issue for Nebraska. But other than that, they don't really do much that has stressed this Husker team, and they don't have the kind of size that has really, really made Nebraska struggle in Big Ten play. Those games where they have struggled, it's typically against a team that offensive rebounds pretty well, and because they have the size that even if you have 5 guys in their box now, it's not going to matter. You have a monster like Clough that can go up and grab it among 3 guys. Like, that's not Troy. This is going to be a celebratory environment more. And I think that leads to a better feel inside the arena once that game tips off at 11:40 on Thursday. I don't think it's a big deal. And it should be noted, I had like 6 different people text me last night. Hey, am I going to see you in Oklahoma City? You heading down on Thursday?
You're not allowed.
I'm not. The herbal hex is real. I've decided I am not going to risk it by going down to Oklahoma City. I'm not doing it.
You're doing the right thing, buddy. It's a long drive.
At least it won't be through a blizzard.
Yeah.
Just
Hopefully
less than
not.
It's just like
a
what?
little less than 6 hours,
It's
and
just-
it's going to be in the mid 80s,
I was
almost
saying-
90.
Yeah.
It's going to be
nice.
beautiful down in
That'll be
Oklahoma
nice.
City. So
Windy.
I hope everyone
Windy
enjoys
though.
it.
It might be windy.
But you've heard my record, right?
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
this is
It's terrible.
I mean, my only like true time I've gone on the road and seen a win was in Kansas City against Cincinnati, but that was more of a home game than anything.
Yeah.
That was just a home game 3 hours from Memorial Stadium. And hey, maybe this will be a home game 8 hours from Pinnacle Bank Arena, but I'm not going to.
And it wasn't much of a win. Let's be real,
No.
right? It was just a very squeak by win.
Yeah.
Right there.
we held on
You
in
know.
spite of you.
You could argue they got outplayed that night.
Yeah, 100%.
So I'm not going to risk
Talk
it.
about Oklahoma City.
The herbal
weather,
hex is real, and I'm not going to do it.
starting there Thursday. It's like, look at this weather in Oklahoma City. It's 93, 97, 99, 92 for the weekend. Thursday to Sunday.
That'll play.
99? Did I hear 99?
999 on Saturday.
Ooh.
Wow.
As
That's-
Nebraska will be playing for the right to go to the Sweet 16.
It's a little warm.
Yeah, thank God I'm not going. That'd be swamp butt.
Big
Big time all
am,
weekend long.
All
I
that
can't handle that.
all that told me was when I'm going to head down Thursday. I'm heading down, not Thursday, sorry, Wednesday afternoon. Sometime after 2. That all that told me is Nebraska wins on Thursday. I got 2 choices.
Golf?
Yeah, that's
Yep.
number 1.
Yep.
Or number 2, do we just sit back and watch games all day?
That's a
don't know.
tough decision
It's
to
a
make.
tough decision, or both.
I think you sit back and watch games all day.
It might be a little warm for golf.
I don't care.
I
Not
would-
an early morning tea time. What up, Connor? Connor's Cutter Clark. What's up, brother? Boots on the ground. It's supposed to be 93 on Thursday. It's currently 21.
Yeah, I mean, we'd ask, is Connor planning on going to the
Yeah, are
game?
you? Tell me more.
Because he's down in Tulsa.
Good morning, Todd. Good morning,
That's
FedEx.
that's
Good morning,
right there.
Arlo.
That's right there.
Speaking of Flood X10 or Ryan 840, we got a surprise call.
Oh,
Oh, it is Monday, and bring it. What's up, FloodX?
Hey, good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning. What's going on, my man?
Oh, man, it is cold. I miss cervezas, por favor.
Oh, that's right. You are back from the birthday weekend.
Oh, man, I want to shout out Troy. I'm sure they had a great season. I'm happy they made the tournament. Good run, boys. It's over.
Just letting you know now.
And I want to shout out, I lost a coworker and a friend last week, and he was 29. His name was Rufus Williams. And just love your friends and enjoy your life. Thanks, fellas. Have a great show.
Absolutely. Thanks, brother. Appreciate that, man. Yeah, thoughts and prayers with that out there. And anytime that happens. But maybe we'll say the same for Troy, as they did make the tournament, but hopefully that's an exit for them. Connor says, I'll absolutely be there.
good.
So I got a question for you guys.
Talk to us.
What's the reasoning behind making the 11 seeds play in? You know what I'm saying?
More basketball. Oh, and it's the 11 seeds are your last 4 in line, so it's we aren't sure if you're actually deserving. Let's make you play in to get there. I think the eventual vision from the NCAA, unless they expand even more, but like what you've been hearing the last couple of years, is that they want to do like the last 8 in all play in, which would be like the last 8, I guess the last 8
Teams
at
on the
larges,
bubble. Right.
and then the last 8 conference champions as well. So I have all the 16 seeds playing and all, because right now it's half the 11 seeds playing and half the 16 seeds. They eventually want to expand out to 76.
Nope.
And get everyone playing in and expand in Dayton. I don't think anyone wants that. But they can make more money on TV
This
way.
year
That's
was
what it's all about.
absolutely exactly why you don't expand the tournament.
It was a weak bubble, both men's and
Weak
women's. It was a weak bubble.
Yep.
Everybody on the bubble didn't want to be in the tournament.
Nobody
They
wanted
just kept
to.
losing.
And eventually the attrition just got certain guys in
Mhm.
teams and that lost early in their conference tournaments, and people just bad losses teams more this year played their way out than these teams that are in played their way in.
It killed me to have Bruce Pearl in the reaction
Oh.
on the selection show yesterday. Well, Auburn played the hardest schedule in the country.
Good.
Did that not get valued? They were terrible against the hardest schedule in the country.
He sounded exactly like Nick Saban up there at times for SEC football.
Oh,
Look, you can play the schedule. And again, I am one sitting here as a North Carolina fan that would say, was it last year or 2 years ago? The fact that they got in was mind-boggling to me because Carolina had the same argument. Was it last year? They went like, whatever it was, a year or two ago, they went like 0 for 10 in COD 1 games.
Mhm.
It was like the top 5 toughest schedule in the country, and they got in. It was only because of the jersey they were wearing. Okay, but they got in.
yeah.
But this is the same situation we're talking about now with this. So
I don't get it.
That's
I don't
fair.
get it.
Did
All
you
right,
get-
Like since February, you lost to Bama, you lost to Vandy, you lost to Arkansas, you lost to a bad Mississippi State team. You barely squeaked by Kentucky. Okay, they're not great this year.
fine.
You lost to Oklahoma, who is out. You lost to Ole Miss, who I know they made a run in the SEC tournament, but they were bad this year. You did beat LSU, who's not great. You lost to Bama. You lost to Tennessee in the SEC tournament.
You had
So
opportunities to
that's-
win.
That's what, like 9 games you just rattled off?
Yeah.
So even with Auburn's record that they ended with, I'd say if you win 4 of those, 4 out of 9, you could have played yourself into the tournament, but you didn't. You lost.
They're legit the only team that was on that didn't get in. You know, typically we have all the snub conversation. And you talk about how weak the bubble was. There's not that this year.
Mm-mm.
There's one team shouting that they should be in. That's Auburn. That's it. Everybody's like, yep, we didn't do ourselves. Indiana didn't do ourselves any favor. You can name
Oklahoma was the first team out, technically.
Yep.
And their season was so bad that most of Oklahoma is cheering for
done.
getting Moser out of
Out.
there,
They
out
want
the
him out.
door, and they've announced they're going to bring him back for another year. And Oklahoma fans are mad about that. They were one spot away from making the tournament. That's how
Yeah.
weak it was.
yes.
Is that the fans want to fire the coach, and they were this close to making the tourney.
Yep. All right, let's
Terrible
do this.
bubble.
Let's take our first break. When we come back, let's explore the bracket a little bit. We'll look at each region, and especially we'll look at Nebraska. What is ahead of them, and what does their outlook look like in their region? We'll talk about that and a whole lot more when we return.
I'm trying to figure out. It looks like if I would have pulled over yesterday, it looks like I-80 is still closed.
Is
now.
it still closed in there? It
Oh,
might be.
really?
Well, that thing was like I was reading.
Oh, it's partially reopened.
Well, they had was it 25 plus cars? That's what I read. I kept reading.
I heard almost 50 between like just south of Gretna.
and the like,
Yuck.
so far I've heard. I mean, again, man, that's awful. But I guess what I was reading also the helpfulness part, like the fortunate part was there was a 3-car accident before that they were finishing up with, and there were still first responders on there still about to leave, and then this started happening, so they could respond pretty quick.
Yeah, that sucks.
And-
Yeah, it was pretty wild yesterday.
It does sound like with that crash, no loss of life.
Yeah,
and
like maybe
just
I've only
minor
read
injuries.
minor injury, in one maybe critical they've taken so far, and that's it. I mean, again, don't want anybody to lose their life in any kind of capacity, but only one critical so far. That's what you read and what information you get.
Yeah.
Out in western Iowa, like I had to keep on going because I couldn't even see the exits. Like I couldn't
Oh,
pull
dude.
off the interstate because the visibility was 5 yards tops, maybe.
Dude, that's
Oh,
wild.
That's yuck.
And then it would like when the wind picked up and you got the big gusts, it was I could not see the road. I could not see the front of my truck.
You know, it's okay to not drive in that stuff.
Well, once I was already, I thought I was going to make it through, and then once I was already in it, I'm like, I'm not going to pull to the side of the interstate.
Oh, no,
someone
don't
will,
do that.
Someone will smash
Oh
into the
no,
back
you
of
have
me.
to get if
Yeah,
only if
you
you're
gotta get
able to get
off.
completely
Yeah,
off an exit.
And I could not see the exits, so I just had to keep on going. But like the wind was blowing the back. I got the topper on the back, and the back end of my truck's kind of light, you have the top run that increases the profile.
Yeah.
The wind was taking my back end and it was blowing me into the other lane. And I was fishtailing all over. It was some of the most. It was the most terrifying driving.
Buddy.
I didn't really know what I was getting into until.
The other key on that drive, and if you do have to get off the interstate, don't stay on the pavement. Just get over there on the grass. Turns out the further away from the people going 80 miles an hour you are, the better.
I mean, we were going like 30, 35. You still couldn't control it at all.
No thanks.
Yeah. Do not recommend. If I knew what I was getting into, I'd probably still be stranded in Des Moines.
Yeah, that's a good point. You would still.
I'm glad I made it through, but it was sketchy as hell.
My mom was traveling back from the East Coast, and one of her flights got canceled at a rebook. They got back in Omaha like at 1 a.m. Heard people just cancel it. Because it was like just here. It was all the way.
Oh yeah,
that way.
Wife was up at the.
Welcome back to the morning hookup. We're hanging out with Dr. Dane Todd, talking bracketology, talking hoops. You grew up here. Just like in your sports life growing up in Lincoln, is this the most anticipated sporting event that you were part of? Because I know you lived through championships, though, right? Like
maybe
football championships, now Husker basketball. Like again, you've lived through a lot of these moments.
Well, this is unique. Right. Whereas when I was growing up, we'd already won national championships and been around there the whole time. Right. But I remember when I was growing up, my dad used to take us to basketball games with like Eric Piakowski and those teams. Right. And so they all had very high expectations right there and then ended up coming up short. Right. Heck, I remember running around in the upper deck of Devaney back when it was still just flat wood benches up there. Right. Watching from the nosebleed seats, watching Tyronn Lue play and everybody else. Like I remember doing that. And so I think though, in terms of like how long it's been since we had a real opportunity at something like this, it's probably the most anticipated.
And as I even compare it to bigger sports, it feels same anticipation levels as like Nebraska against Oklahoma in the Big 12 title game. That last year Nebraska was in the Big 12. It's probably more anticipated than Nebraska-Wisconsin Big 10 championship game because a lot of folks thought Nebraska was going to roll Wisconsin in that game, and then Wisconsin rolled us. Awesome. Yeah, but like that's the kind of anticipation we're talking about. Is like Nebraska football with an opportunity to go win a conference title. That's like the last time I felt this kind of excitement for the opportunity here.
It was the coldest I've ever been at a sporting event.
Was the Oklahoma game in Kansas City?
It was
awful. 06.
The doc was on the field.
It was awful. Awful.
My dad went to that game and he still talks about cold.
My wife was probably the warmest person in the building. She was, I want to say, 6 months pregnant with our first kid. It was my birthday. She came, we all went down and she was warm and we were like, I don't know how we're going to survive this.
Well, you did. You
barely.
Lived, and that's all that matters.
Barely. Was cold.
Yeah, it was awful.
We were standing on ice.
Yeah.
So cold.
That's what it felt like down on the field too.
Oh, you were a fullback. You were fine.
Oh,
you were a little bit more beefy then, bro.
I was. Yeah.
You had more padding.
I had a lot more padding back then. I could tolerate the cold way better back then than I can now.
I always feel like those big like capes that the football players wear in the cold games, those look very warm.
Dude, those are awesome.
Yeah.
Like I was on there. Incredible. They genuinely are incredible. I'm not gonna lie. They
like
are
a big insulated
awesome.
blanket.
Yeah, it's incredible, especially if you've actually been playing, right?
Then
and then you throw one on it. Oh, as you come off, nothing better than that. Although now they got the heated benches, and the benches aren't just heated; they've got like heaters blowing on you too. The best is the air conditioned benches, though, because those are out there. Oh, you down there on the sideline like I am these days, right? You get on there and sit on one of those babies when it's 95 degrees.
If you can't find the doc in the heat, he's sitting down.
I always wish, like, never gonna have it in high school football, but you see those like little things. Some college teams have them, but the NFL, like you hang your helmet on it, it's got the air that blows through, and it blows cool air whenever it's hot out, and it dries your helmet out and keeps it cool, and then it blows hot air whenever it's cold out. So when you put your helmet on, it's nice and warm.
Yeah, it's super soft. I'm not gonna lie. It's taking some of the toughness out of the game, no question. No question.
We're gonna look at this bracket. Obviously, we will be talking more throughout the week. Nebraska and Troy coming up at 11:40 on True TV on Thursday. Just some tail to tape right quick. You got net ranking of 14 to 125. Strength of schedule, Nebraska 62. They're at the 159 points per game. They do score a lot now based on their schedule. 80 points gained, Nebraska 77. The tail of this tape, I think, will be on the defensive side as we get through it. Is they give up 73 points a game. We only give up 66 points per game in that matchup.
So and on the defensive end, there's going to be a lot of strain onto Burke and Rink. You're trying to force this team to shoot up some threes. They have been known to do it. They're not a great 3-point shooting team percentage-wise.
No.
Their leading scorers are all their post guys. They don't shoot great percentages in there, but they feed it down low to them. If you can collapse down on them, force them to shoot threes and close out. I was going to talk about this last night. Nebraska would love to turn this game into a 3-point shooting contest because I don't think Nebraska, barring a monumental meltdown from 3-point land, is going to lose a 3-point shooting contest to this Troy team. That's what it's going to come down to. Nebraska down on the inside should have a slight size advantage actually with Rink and Burke.
Because don't they go 6'7", 6'8", 6'9" across the front, I believe.
Yeah, they're athletic guys down there, but Nebraska, I mean, Rink's going to be bigger. Burke's going to be a little thicker. Like you're going to have the Big Ten size advantage down low. You hope that it is not like one of those whistles that changes everything and changes how Burke and Rink have to play. But if Nebraska can force this team to kick out to the outside and turn it into a 3-point shooting contest, Nebraska should win this.
Yeah, by my numbers, I have that they shoot the 3 ball 45% of the time, and they shoot it at a 33% clip.
Yeah,
so
they're willing to shoot the 3, and they're not great at knocking them down. So if you can force them into doing that even more, get 50% of their shots from 3, I mean, you can beat this team in a 3-point shooting contest.
I got Nebraska winning for sure. Boys, I got to run a little early today, so I'm going to sign off, and I will catch you guys after a Nebraska win next week.
We appreciate you, brother.
Score prediction?
Score prediction? Yeah, what do you got? It's by the way, it opened up at 13.5.
Oh, wow. I'm going to go Nebraska. Oh, they rebound so well. I'm going to keep it a little lower scoring. I'm going to go Nebraska 68 and Troy 52.
Okay. That's a win and cover.
That's a win and a cover.
Well, naturally.
Doc, be good, brother.
All right, later, boys.
So that's Dr. Dayton Todd right there hanging out with us every Monday. DrDaytonTodd.com. You can find him out there. And hopefully you're not out and about slipping on some ice today. So stay away from it. Watch yourself as better weather is upon us come Wednesday this week. But let's look at that draw. Let's look at Nebraska's draw just a little bit. You obviously got Troy sitting there. On the other side of that, if you were to win, which, when you win, how you boys feeling about the draw? You got on the top side, the 5-seeded, you got Vandy taking on the McNeese State, which I believe that's that team's a perennial team in the tournament these days with Will Miller, Will Wade coming via LSU to that team now at NC State.
Yeah, and don't they have the Aura kid? The guy that's got the boombox?
Amir Khan.
Yeah.
Amir Khan, baby.
Yeah, Aura Khan. So they got him. We'll see what happens there. It feels wrong to look ahead past Nebraska's round of 64 game at this point in time.
I know it does. It does. Just fun to look.
It just feels like we're getting way too ahead of ourselves if we're going to start talking about Vandy on a Monday. I understand that, like, that's what the tournament is you get this seed so you can look ahead just a little bit. I don't want to overlook this Troy team. Yeah,
I'm with. I think you're probably a lot of Nebraska fans that want to see this. Let's get past the first.
Vandy's a tougher matchup. But I also think this Husker team is really difficult to prepare for on short notice if you haven't already played them.
Absolutely. There's no doubt.
These things, Nebraska will throw some crazy stuff at you defensively. Like, that's a hard defense to prepare for. Then offensively, the amount of different variety they have in their sets, the amount of different ways they get their 3-point shooters open. They are on a short prep, a nightmare. But I'm not going to sit here and try to look at Vandy because I think all eyes should be on Troy. I mean, it is going to be that way.
Absolutely.
It is going to be that way for the team. But listen, we're talking about a team that's never won an NCAA tournament game. No matter what the seed line is, you can't overlook a round of 64 game and say, look at Vandy in the round of 32. That could be a fun matchup. I'm too nervous about Troy.
Boy, looking at the bracket overall, have you had a chance? I always like to look at it in a lot of different ways, but look at the toughest regions and based on the path of success for the 1 seeds. If you look at some of these, there's some dynamic first round games that we can jump in. But if you had a chance to look, which 1 seed do you think probably has the toughest road?
I think it might be Florida.
It's either Florida or Duke. Or Michigan's is pretty tough as well.
Oh boy, I was looking at Michigan right now because you look at a few of those teams and you look at the seeding, the way it's going. Michigan gets there. Look at their second round potential matchup in 8-9. Georgia, St. Louis, Georgia, a team that played well in their conference tournament. And I think you look no farther than how well Iowa State, that 2 seed, has played as of late in that one as well. A unique team in Virginia sits in that area. An Alabama team that doesn't play a whole lot of defense, but they can get up and down the floor and score on you a lot. I look at that one going, boy, in Michigan, they'll be fine. But if I'm looking at from the strength of it, I'm going Michigan. Watch out, because especially in that second round, man, that Georgia St. Louis team is a pretty good, solid basketball team in that second round matchup.
I'm looking out at Florida and just look at the top seeds in that region. Houston. Do you want to play Kelvin Sampson?
Nobody does.
I mean, it feels like all he does is pound out Elite 8 in Final Fours. Still doesn't have a national championship, but I like their path. You have Illinois down there, and when Illinois is playing good basketball, they can beat about anybody. Keaton Wagler's on; they can beat about anybody. The threes are falling; they can beat about anybody. Now it's been rough for them as of late, but if they can get some momentum going, they're going to be a tough out. You look at Nebraska and Vandy, 4-5, both teams that whenever they were hot at the beginning of the season, it felt like they were pretty much unbeatable. Now, Vandy also had a similar rough stretch to Nebraska through late January into February, but the difference is Vandy kind of started to turn it back on late in the season, made that run to the SEC title game, semifinal, yeah. That's a tough out. Now Florida's a great team, and they've been playing great basketball. But I just look at the top 5 seeds down there, and I go,
yikes!
Yeah, I don't think some of the seeds 9 through 16 down in that region are all that concerning, but seeds 1 through 3, 1 through 4 are concerning if you're Florida.
I also looking at all of them throughout. Florida's a good one there. Look at, and I start in my brain, I can start visually seeing what I want to see. Again, you look at a Duke team there, the overall number 1, who's been hurt a little bit right now.
Look at some of the seeds in there. UConn was a 1 seed for a lot of the season. They got Coach Hurley. UCLA is playing great basketball as of late.
Like, can you not see like the potential Sweet 16 matchup right now of a Duke St. John's? Who's St. John's playing good? Because, right. Look at those seedings that got going on.
I'll be honest with you. I could see St. John's losing to Northern Iowa.
I know.
But again,
potentially looking ahead, seeing some of that. But like you said, UConn sitting there at the 2, UCLA at the 7, Michigan State sitting there at a 3.
He's doing something.
Okay.
Gotcha.
We're okay.
Yeah, we're talking about the log. I see now.
Okay. All right. Begin. We're good.
Yeah. On the flip side of this kind of conversation, sorry that kind of derailed us, but it brings a good chance to change conversation slightly. What teams are on upset alert?
You mentioned UConn. I don't know if they'll lose to Furman in round of 64.
But UCLA in the round of 32,
if I were a team and I got a 2 seed, I would want it to be UConn. I think UCLA, if they get through UCF, they match up perfectly with UConn, and they could knock them off.
UCLA is a team that I just wouldn't want to play in the tournament based on how they've been playing as of late.
Another team, what Hooks and I were talking about last week, if North Carolina, we mentioned North Carolina getting on the 6th line, and they could possibly match up against South Florida. South Florida is a very good basketball team, and they get Louisville. That's one of the 6-11 matchups I'm looking at. The way South Florida plays is like the Nate Oates, Alabama kind of style, where you run and gun up the court, shoot a ton of threes, play super fast. That sort of style in the tournament is super dangerous because if you get hot, you can beat anybody. And I think they could knock off Louisville. Those are the 2 that caught my eye so far. There's going to be a ton more, but yeah, that's what I got so far.
Well, have you guys filled out the first bracket yet?
I'm not.
No.
I was so exhausted after that. I was in bed by like right after I texted you guys, I'll see you in the morning. I was like, I'm off to bed.
Yeah, I'm just here and tell you right now, not that it would be anybody, it would doubt anybody or it would go, but I think Carolina's on upset in round 1 right now. When you look at, I always go back, you mentioned this, you look at teams that are playing well. That VCU team up and down, they're going to look at the light blue jersey on the other side. They've won 9 out of 10 games right now.
Mm-hmm.
Watch out for the teams like that are playing well. 9 out of 10. You talk about a UCLA team. I think this would be an interesting second round in my book because I think it's contrasting styles. One that loves to shoot it, one's love to get up and down the floor. How about you zero in on a Iowa State Kentucky second round matchup?
Yep,
that matchup has a potential for upset city with the way both those teams play. Iowa State shoots it well. There are nights they don't shoot it well. When they don't shoot it well, if you look at their schedule, there's a lot of times where they blow people out and they get blown out in games. And Kentucky is a weirdly athletic team with a very high payroll that could cause some damage in this thing. That's when I'm going, wait a minute.
Can I add to this? Maybe it's just me. I was surprised to see Iowa State get a 2. I know you don't punish teams as much for a tournament run. They got smoked by Houston.
Yeah.
They were great at home this year and kind of subpar away from home.
To me, it told you about the lack of value on conference tournaments. I think there was some value.
Purdue definitely got a good bump.
Purdue got the bump. I think teams that were behind, and I say behind, maybe in that range of seeds, right? And you go out and get to your championship. I think Nebraska would have been a beneficiary getting to that Sunday, right? You could have been bumped to a 2 on a Sunday, right? Teams like Purdue run there, they get it, they win it, they get the big bump. But teams like the Iowa States, Florida got blown out by Vandy.
Yeah,
look what happened to them. What, they got bumped down to the lowest number 1 seed possibly.
They're probably already there. Honestly,
that's what I'm saying. All of them, the top 2 seed lines, there was less value on their tournament runs than any of the other teams. Right. I think the committee, yes, they scrubbed it, but they were like, all right.
Even down on 3 and 4 seed line, it felt like Virginia was the only real beneficiary and Nebraska was the only real loser from conference title weekend. And I think that was less about Nebraska and more about, all right, Virginia looks pretty good in the conference tournament. Someone's got to get moved down.
I think there was some benefits to, like, you got either the benefit or did not get it when you look at the conference tournaments. When the 1s and 2s played each other in conference tournaments, it didn't matter. Virginia and Duke both, they were 1 and 2, right? All year long, the ACC, we'll give you the slight bump to 3. That was the team that pretty much kept you out of being there. I thought maybe Nebraska would sneak in there with the better conference strength of power. But it just showed you they kind of, to me, it looked like the committee separated the 1s and 2s and the 3s and on down.
Yeah, and I don't think Nebraska got bumped to a 4 because they lost to Purdue. They got bumped down to a 4 because Virginia made a run to the ACC title game.
Yes.
This was less about Nebraska and more about Virginia with Nebraska.
Well, because there was so much of that sitting up there until, like, I don't know, to the 11th hour almost. And again, if you were monitoring every game result on a Saturday and a Sunday, at one point, Joe Lunardi bumped Gonzaga down to the 4, Nebraska stayed at the 3 with Virginia. Then all of a sudden, the matrix started changing a little bit, going, all right, Nebraska's going to be the 4, Gonzaga back to the 3, right? And then I think a lot of this also is a regional situation. They did their best to keep the regional teams regional in the area. And with that, because Nebraska, like that 3 seed was in Oklahoma City the entire time. Now all of a sudden, like, wait a minute, Nebraska's going to be a 4? They need to be in Oklahoma City. Where the path from York to 81 down to Oklahoma City is going to be a road well-traveled.
It's not the most fun drive either. Let me add. I made that drive once when we went down to Norman against Oklahoma. What was that? 4 seasons ago?
Yep.
5 seasons ago? 5 seasons ago now. Get down into Kansas. That's a pretty boring drive. Like, you're not always on interstates.
I don't know if you are in the entire trip, are you?
I think you do briefly get back onto it. Northern Kansas, no, but southern Kansas, I think you hop back on the interstate.
Okay. That's the path of success on Wednesday for me.
But there is a couple casinos you drive by on that road trip down right on the border.
You telling me I should leave earlier?
If you want to stop in and maybe pay off your trip.
Or add to the needing to hit the ATM more. That could go either way. So, all right, let's take a break. So much more bracketology talk throughout the week. Nebraska, Troy coming up, women's hoops, all that good stuff. Big weekend, and got a lot more to talk about. When we come back, we're going to talk some baseball. That was on me.
No, my bad.
Stupid pause.
His board, they were itchy. Those fingers were itchy.
Oh yeah, it's like I got through bracketology.
Quick on the trigger finger.
I got through bracketology and got done with it, and then all of a sudden was watching the baseball classic last night, which was phenomenal.
No, yeah, I looked over at the log and the trash can was up, and I'm like, I wasn't deleting anything. That's when Schmidt came over, and it was him doing it.
See,
gave you the dad finger.
See, it's 6 hours and 11 minutes. Okay, you hop back on the interstate, I believe, in Wichita. I think is where you hop back on, depending on which route you take.
I mapped it right to our
because you're taking
right to the hotel. Well,
you take
of course
highway,
I'm from here.
Oh no, you take Highway 81 down to Salina, and then that turns into 130. That's Highway 81 and 135 at the same time.
I see it.
And then
right
135 turns into 35 in Wichita,
and takes it all the way in.
Yep. And it's
6:14 from here. It was like 6 from my house. Just being on that side of town.
And then it's like right on the Nebraska-Kansas borders where you get the casinos. Down in
looks like weather should
Raymond.
It looks like weather should be pretty solid heading that way.
I thought we already covered that. Yeah, because whenever we went down to Oklahoma City, I was staying just north of Moore in Oklahoma City, and then finished the drive Saturday morning to Norman, which was like 30 minutes.
Okay.
And then after the Nebraska-Oklahoma game, we finished at the post-game show. My brother and I were like, we'd just rather be back in Lincoln right now.
You just knocked it out.
So we knocked it out, and we were back in Lincoln by like midnight.
Yeah. We've made the commitment. We've even said whatever the result is on Thursday, we're staying. We're not coming home till Saturday at least.
So that was me in Chicago. Whatever happened Friday night, I was staying, hanging out.
Yeah, like we're here.
Man, by the way, Chicago to St. Patty's Day, right down there. That was
good stuff.
It was unbelievable the amount of people that were out wearing green. They had like little bus tours that were taking you and driving around different parts of the city and different like little Irish drags.
Really?
They had people just getting like pulled up in like these buses and
pulling them up on the side of the bus,
like 30 people hop off the bus and jump into some bar.
Oh my goodness.
I did see the Green River.
Okay, you did. You stayed out of it. Well, that's good.
I stayed away from the main drag. And especially once like the evening rolled around on Saturday and all the bars have these crazy covers and whatnot.
We
kind of hunkered down in an apartment.
I was gonna say it kind of feels like you want to get in when it's not so crazy and then enjoy yourself and be like, hey, I don't need the full experience, just a little bit of it.
Yeah,
Welcome back in the morning hookup. Happy Monday. Thanks for hanging out with us. I know we got a lot of bracketology. We've been talking a lot of bracketology. There's so much more to come as Nebraska, men and women. The women will get started against who's your opponent? The 11-11 game. I forgot the name. I know they have the right to play Baylor next to get it done. There's 6 o'clock ESPN 2 on Wednesday. The men will get up on Thursday, 11:40 against Troy. We'll talk more. We go down the path. But if you were, if you were exhausted from bracketology, if you were exhausted from probably as quickly as you could now filling out brackets. I just saw this morning, probably it's been up by now, but I saw this morning on Sports, they were already saying there were over 5 million brackets this morning. Sports already filled out as we were doing it. Hopefully you didn't miss a class, the World Baseball Class. That was the United States and the Dominican. What a matchup this was with plays being made. Paul Skeens nails. That is a performance that's going to go down and go, one, not to anybody's fault. I'm not saying this, but Skeens pitched for America. He wasn't pulled back. I don't know if he even wanted to go back. If the Pirates made him or wanted him to come home, like Skubal, not there, but he was there, by the way. Skubal was there, but
I think if you're Skubal, you have to have a little more respect for your organization because they have been winning a little bit.
Yep.
If you're Skeens, what kind of respect do you have? If you're, hey, you want me to come back? No, this is the only time I have a chance at winning anything.
It kind of feels like early on in Skeens' career, this feels like the Mike Trout thing where Mike Trout's most meaningful game he's ever played was the last World Baseball Classic in the final against Japan and Ohtani and those guys. Skeens 4 1/3, 6 hits, 1 run, 2 strikeouts. He was magnificent.
Yeah, those stats don't sound as impressive as it was. Just in full command, and it felt like the Dominican was off balance the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
It's most pitchers coming out of college are like making their MLB debuts this year as they work their way through the minors. The fact that we saw him a couple years ago in Omaha and he's already the best pitcher in baseball. Can we say that? Best pitcher?
No,
in
he's
baseball?
the best pitcher in baseball.
Yeah.
I don't like, no disrespect to Skubal and
Skubal's
other
close.
guys, things like that, but the way he commands everything and the way he just he pitches. This isn't, and again, not knocking any of those guys. This isn't the Randy Johnson overpowering you guy. This is the guy that would throw the sweeping deadly slider at you for strikes.
Well, he's
just unhittable.
Every pitch out of his hand looks the exact same.
Yeah, it's layered.
It's incredible.
Got the layer. I mean, the tunneling is just unreal. Where the pitch is halfway to home plate and it looks like it's going to be a fastball and it falls off the face of the earth with that slider. He's got the 2-seam sinker that comes back the other way. The 4-seamer that stays. It's It's an impossible battle to try to go against him. You're just guessing.
And young kids out there, if you have to watch a performance in a guy that throws it really stinking hard, only 2 strikeouts in the game. This was a performance that he made the right pitch when he needed to make the right pitch, get the out when he had to get the out. You're talking about a game that literally had 3 runs, 15 hits, 3 runs, all solo home runs.
Should have been 4. Julio Rodriguez, what a play. Out in center field, that catch.
Yes. And also, once again, Aaron Judge, somebody, was it Tatis that wanted to test that arm again? My goodness. Again, everybody will want to talk about on one side the controversial strike 3 at the end of the game there, but what a performance by America. As now, everybody was doubting it, right? I know we were too. I kind of got poo-pooed on how they backed into it. Best foot forward. They will be in the final. Waiting on a surprising other semifinal on one end, Venezuela and Italy, as they knocked Japan out.
Italy's been playing like the best team in the tournament.
Yeah, they have.
No, they've been playing like they got nothing to lose, the best team in the tournament.
They clearly don't have the best talent in the tournament, but oh my God, they're playing incredible baseball.
Sometimes you don't need to have the best talent.
They hit for power. Their pitchers, kind of complement the lineup. Pitching staff's not great. They're giving up a good number of runs, but it doesn't matter whenever your offense is putting up eight a game.
I mean, there's been juggernauts they've been beating. They beat America. They just
Japan.
beat Japan. They beat Puerto Rico. Look at the teams they've beat throughout this process. Today, they'll play today for the right, 7:00. If you're exhausted from bracketology, I'm going to watch this tonight. I'm going to be locked in on this. Venezuela and Italy. Venezuela, by the way, a overwhelming favorite, almost minus 200.
Well, I wouldn't bet against.
But I wouldn't bet against them.
I would not bet against the Italians.
And then on Tuesday, you'll have a 7:00 final, and that'll be in. Is that in Miami? They're in Miami, aren't they? I think now.
Unsure. Well, because the USA has to travel, but this side of the bracket doesn't have to travel.
Yeah.
Correct.
I thought it was Miami. I could be completely wrong because this one is But that'll be fun.
Oh wow,
that's good. I know, right?
It's almost the end of the hour.
Yeah. Coming up, we're going to talk some golf. Evan Bland, we're going to talk baseball. There's softball. And then at the end of the show, our last segment, we're going to get to it. Jeff Moats, the Almanac, will be in with us and looking at history made at state basketball. Wow, I know it's quick. This is crazy. So, all right, sit back, relax. The 3 of us will be right back.
The IRS, they tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now.
800-551-7672.
Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-551-7672. That's 800-551-7672. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Workdays can be unpredictable, but your workwear shouldn't be. With a Cintas Apparel Plus program, you'll have freshly laundered garments for everyone on your team delivered every week. Cintas has workwear for just about any job imaginable, with high-performance fabrics and an uncompromising fit that stretches and moves with you. Don't leave looking and feeling good to chance. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
For America's wounded warriors, sometimes coming home can be a battle in itself. Every one of them needs our support to meet the challenges they face every day. The USO provides Americans a way to offer that support to our wounded warriors and their families. Join us. Visit USO.org to learn how you can make a difference in their lives. The USO, until everyone comes home.
If you came across a child struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them? By their clothes, their age, the way they speak? Would you recognize a 13-year-old boy who gets into fights at school?
Not because he's a boy, but because he's hungry.
Or a 2-year-old girl who cries all night? Not because she's sick,
but because she went to bed without enough to eat.
Or maybe a 9-year-old boy who hopes their friend invites him to a sleepover?
Not for fun, just so we can have dinner.
Or a 15-year-old girl who goes for walks over lunch, so her friends won't know she doesn't have anything to eat? I am the 1 in 7 American children who struggle with hunger. Kids you pass by every day, but never knew were hungry. I am Child Hunger in America.
Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungerInAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America, 200 food banks strong.
1 in 3 adults has prediabetes. 1 in 3. That means it could be you, your football buddy, your football buddy, or you, your best man, your worst man, you, your dog walker, your cat jogger. While 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes, with early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org. That's doihaveprediabetes.org.
Wait, did they just say 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes? That's 33.33333% of adults. That means it could be me, my boss, or my boss's boss, or me, my favorite sister, or my other sister. That's 7 members of my 21-person romantic book club. Wait, the 1 in 3 could be me, my karaoke partner Carol, or my karaoke enemy Jeff. I'm going to take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
Lincoln's local news, talk, sports, and weather station. FM 101.5, 1240 AM, KFOR, and KFRX HD3. Lincoln.
From ABC News, I'm Brian Clark. President Trump has been pressuring other countries to send ships to help secure the Strait of Hormuz, saying he might delay his trip to China. But Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent told reporters in Paris that if that trip is pushed back,
a postponement would not be as a result of any ask from the president not being met.
Oil prices are up by more than 40% since the U.S. and Israel attacked Iran, which effectively closed the strait. ABC News contributor and former Defense Department official Mick Mulroy says so far there have been few to no takers on the president's call.
Perhaps that will change after the United States stops its military campaign, and then it's just focused on the Straits of Hormuz and getting it back open. But right now, it doesn't look like a lot of countries are interested in becoming involved in the war that the United States and Israel started.
British Prime Minister Keir Starmer said today,
"We will not be drawn into the wider war."
Airline CEOs wrote a letter to Congress over the weekend demanding TSA workers get paid despite the ongoing government shutdown. Many TSA employees have called out sick And that has led to a big increase in security wait times, says ABC's Clara McMichael.
Over this last weekend, we saw long lines in Atlanta. They actually had to close one of their checkpoints. We saw lines in Newark, in Austin. Earlier, a week ago, we saw them at Hobby Airport in Houston and New Orleans. Now, you may notice that some of these airports I named are coincidentally spring break destinations.
The weather also complicating today's travel. There are more than 2,000 flight cancellations. Parts of the upper Midwest are under blizzard warnings, while there's a tornado watch in effect from Florida to Virginia. Over 3,000 employees of one of the nation's largest beef plants are on strike in Greeley, Colorado. They walked off the job today because of a dispute over their contract with the parent company of the plant. You're listening to ABC News.
We'll admit, we've already thrown in the towel on the New Year's resolution.
Yeah, and we made it through dry January. But one healthy new habit we're sticking with is Active Liver from New Nordic. Did you know your liver works around the clock processing food, sugar, alcohol, and everyday toxins? All things that can really impact your health.
That's why daily support matters. Active Liver is designed to help protect normal liver function and support your body's natural detox process.
With trusted ingredients like milk thistle, turmeric, and artichoke extract, it's gentle enough to take all year long.
No harsh cleanses, no extreme detoxes, just simple daily liver support. We really feel the difference.
Yup, more energy and the peace of mind knowing we can enjoy the good things in life while giving our liver the love it needs.
Active Liver is available online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com. Or you can find it in stores at CVS, Meijer Grocery, Wegmans, and now Active Liver is available at your local GNC.
Some updated information into our western Nebraska wildfire. Good morning, I'm Jeff Modes. We're at 14 degrees at KFOR. But first, Lincoln Fire and Rescue dealt with a house fire this morning west of 33rd and Fair Streets in North Lincoln. Crews are called about 5 this morning. No word yet on the damage estimates or the cause of fire. So far, no injuries to report. The 5-county-wide Morrill fire in western Nebraska scorched over 570,000 acres of land and has not been contained. One person's died in that fire. Officials say that a downed power pole and line due to gusty winds Thursday near Angora is to blame. Lincoln Fire and Rescue, they have sent 11 certified wildfire responders at Mary, Larry, and Gaylor Baird's request to that area that's impacted portions of Keith, Arthur, Grant, Morrill, and Garden counties. Now, some new updated information from the Cass County Sheriff's Office about that multi-vehicle crash from Sunday afternoon along Interstate 80 near Greenwood that did shut down traffic in the area. At least 30 to 40 vehicles were involved. Bryan Health reported a total of 4 patients that were taken from that crash scene to their Lincoln hospitals. 2 patients were admitted to Bryan West. Both are in fair condition. 2 others were treated and released. Just remember to use patience and plan accordingly if you are planning to drive or fly this spring and summer, at least in the interim, as fuel prices have soared an average of 35 cents nationwide in the past month, according to AAA. A lot of it having to do with the conflict happening in the Middle East.
We need to watch day to day because things have changed so quickly on a day-to-day basis that's going to be where some decisions may be made as a day-to-day.
That's AAA Nebraska's Brian Ortner, who told KFOR News the recent consumer pulse survey they conducted for the 2026 travel outlook shows that more Nebraskans plan to travel, but it's not clear if what's currently happening with oil prices will have a long-term impact or change that outlook. Here in Nebraska, the average fuel price is now at $3.22 a gallon, up from the $2.60 on average about a month ago. Lincoln's first forecast, sunny and blustery today at a high of 30. I'm Jeff Modes, KFOR News.
Ready for the movie? Totally. But man, why the sunglasses? We're inside.
I just joined Members Owned Credit Union. And honestly, with how helpful their team's been with my finances, my future's so bright, I got to wear shades.
So is your future bright enough to cover my ticket or?
Nice try.
Get clear financial guidance and a trusted partner when you join Members Owned Credit Union. Starts your bright future at membersowncu.org/bright. Federally insured by the NCUA.
Trying to keep up with today's fast-changing digital landscape, with more ways to consume content than ever before, it is getting harder to reach your customers. You need more than just a presence. You need the experts at Conrex Digital. We craft websites that convert. We engaging content on social and block channels. We generate quality leads through Google and Meta. We dominate your competition on streaming TV. Bold marketing, real results. Conrex Digital makes it happen. Visit conrexdigital.com. That's Conrex Digital.
This is the Morning Hookup on KFOR.
Welcome back in the morning. Hookup hour number 2 on a beautiful Victory Monday. As it was a big Husker weekend of athletics out there. Coming up, Evan Bland, Lamar Ward here. We'll talk about the sweep this weekend of baseball. Elijah and I were just talking about like drives that we've had before. Like I just told him if I would have experienced what he experienced, and I've done it before, not in the snow part, but I've done the rain, the driving rain, where you're like, oh, and it just takes everything you got out of you. I would have went home and just grabbed the bottle and just celebrated big victory. When you got to kick the feet up after. He just said he slept like 10 hours and he's still exhausted. It's probably like, are your arms tired too?
Well, I mean, I got the point of like where the adrenaline's going and the like everything kind of starts tingling a little bit and the palms are sweating and the hands are shaking a little bit.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, the pit in my stomach didn't end until I made it back to Lincoln.
Yeah, and you could see like it's one of those guys you're like, oh, look, there's the Capitol. This is amazing.
We talked about it off the air, not on the air. It was like what 70-mile-per-hour winds in Iowa. And on the interstate, there's no trees there, so there's nothing to block the wind. So it was like, I mean, couldn't see anything, couldn't see cars in front of you. Whenever the winds really picked up, I couldn't even see the like the front of my truck.
No,
it was
that's scary.
Just driving blind. The wind was kicking the back end of my truck out and knocking it like I have a topper on the back of my truck. So it was catching some wind. And whenever it was catching wind, it was knocking the back end of my truck away and forcing me into fishtails. And like driving down the interstate sideways is not something I recommend. I mean, let me throw that out there right now. But we made it. That was the main thing. I was trying to make it back for a reaction show. And then once I was in it, I'm like, I can't stop. I got to keep on going. So
yeah, that
was my only option. And I think it speaks to my abilities as a driver that I was able to make it through that because I had minimal control of my truck for portions of that.
There's no way. That's just scary.
Feathering that gas pedal, trying to keep yourself
the
from
white
ending up
knuckle,
in the dish.
man. It takes it out of you so well. But hopefully everybody, again, there was a lot going on yesterday. Everybody's safe, and just don't take those moments for granted when you're making those travels. That it's take your time and get there. Did you guys get a chance? There was so much sports. Again, we're going to get Evan coming up. We're going to talk state basketball with Mozi coming up here in a little bit as well. Another electric yesterday. Did you guys get it? I know you were driving back. The golf tournament yesterday.
I missed all of it.
My goodness. The
Saw
players.
Bits and pieces.
The players was amazing. Amazing. Going into that thing yesterday, Ludwig Oberg was magnificent for 3 rounds. I saw a stat. And again, this probably goes into the betting world if you like to mess around and dabble in golf. Last year, 54 hole leaders. Last year, the stat was that if you were leading after 54 holes last year, you won it 50% of the time. This year, now the stat goes down. The number goes down after yesterday. There's now been 16 54 hole leaders, and only 3 have prevailed.
Wow.
Oberg became the victim yesterday.
Well, did you guys see? This is about the only thing I saw. Cameron Young's drive on number 18.
366. That, by the way.
It ended up being the longest drive in whole history.
Yes. And I will tell you this.
It's one in the tournament.
This thing was all about resiliency in this tournament. And if there's lessons to be learned, I was talking to my boys about this, and my boys always, Dad's always got a lesson for us. When you're struggling and you happen to maybe be out, keep grinding because you never know when you're right back in it. Cam Young was that yesterday. Matt Fitzpatrick was that yesterday. Xander Schauffele was that yesterday. Robert McIntyre was that yesterday. For all intents and purposes, Ludwig was running away with this thing. And then he started hitting the ball left. Boy, he found water on the par 5, made 6. Next tee shot finds water, makes double. Fitzpatrick makes a couple birdies. Now he's in the lead. Cam Young just was steady Eddie yesterday. That tee shot on 18, that'll be remembered for a long time because that is the hardest driving hole out there.
Because you want to hit a draw on that hole, but if you draw it too far, you're in the water.
Yes, and by the way, if you hit it in the water, your drop is about where you start from.
And if you try to really get into it and you don't draw it enough, now you're ended up in that right rough. And that's a bad angle into the green. Like it comes down to being perfect on that hole. If you want to give yourself a nice wedge in, you got to hit the perfect draw. You got to shape it perfectly. You got to smoke it. And he nailed all of the things. I mean, everything about that shot was the perfect shot to hit on that hole. You end up on the right side of the fairway. That's where you want to be. Like, doesn't get better than that.
It doesn't. It was magical watching that again. It was a bogey by Fitzpatrick on the final hole to win it. A lot of magical moments throughout this tournament when you look at it. And again, this is one of those that is talked about as if they ever had a fifth major, this would be the major if they were to throw it, because the way the field is set up, it is action-packed field. It's usually the top. Also, it's one of those events because if you look at it, he walked away with $4.5 million yesterday. Fitzpatrick 2.7, Xander Schauffele 1.7, McIntyre. The top five went over $1 million in this thing.
Man,
it was drama from the onset of this tournament. It's just fun golf, a resilient one. Cam Young, maybe the most humble winner you've ever watched. I mean, Scotty's that way, but they were showing like Cam Young's emotions. Again, he was also dang near Superman in the Ryder Cup, the way he played the end of last year, coming into this year. They were saying, like, no matter if he finished 36 at the Valspar or wins the Players, you get the same thing. Also, by the way, folks out there, winning in your character in defeat defines a lot of people. I don't know if you got a chance to watch it yesterday, but Fitzpatrick, knowing that he just pretty much lost the golf tournament, went over and hugged and congratulated the entire Young family, Young's parents, his wife and kids. What a hard deal to do, but to be humble in defeat like that was pretty amazing to watch in that.
And it does sound like Young's one of like the good guys in golf.
Yep.
Like just very much a guy that all about his family, doing it the right way. Never going to be one of those guys that is a POS to his other competitors. Like, he's always going to be gracious. It sounds like he's one of the guys. And again, I don't know the guy personally, but it does sound like he's one of those guys that just does everything the right way in his professional golf career.
It's just a lot of fun yesterday. There was so much going on with the golf and things like that, because now I want to say, if I got my math right yesterday, I believe we're like 24 days away from Thursday at Augusta,
which means we're 22 days away from the practice rounds and the hole-in-one competition, and
the anticipation starts. Because also, we don't know what the report was or what it means. There was a report yesterday that Tiger Woods was on the grounds. Now he's got a business adventure going on over there with a short golf course type deal, but will he play? A lot of guys getting healthy right now. Rory McIlroy not as healthy as he could be. Colin Morikawa questions, will he be ready to go? Because he bowed out in the second or third hole of the Players of the Back issue. Scotty Scheffler, will Scotty Scheffler get back to form? Which, by the way, this drives me nuts about this. Scotty's been magnificent for how many years? 3 or 4 years now in a row. Everybody's quick to jump on what's wrong with Scotty just because he hasn't won at such a high level. There's a lot of top 10s coming out of that golf swing right now still. He's like number 6 in the FedEx Cup right now still. Drives me nuts when we're like that. It's like, oh, he's not winning, but what's going on? Yeah. These guys go out and just like our lives and stuff, they retool everything. They're always looking at something different. He's probably retooling something right now to get his game back, whether it be for the future or to get it right for Augusta.
Yeah, it's crazy what the world number one's off is compared to everyone else's off. Oh, his swing is off, and he finished 8th this weekend. What?
My bad. My bad.
My swing is off, and I shoot 130 at a public course here in Lincoln.
Scotty Scheffler, by the way, is Nebraska basketball. He hasn't had great starts in tournaments. First halves, not tournaments, but like when he goes out to tournaments, if you look at his first round, the way, and also, by the way, if you look at it, I got the golf stats up for the season so far. He must, again, it's been slow starts for Scotty, but he currently has a 68.9 scoring average. Tops in the PGA Tour right now. Also made 69 consecutive cuts, leading that. He's doing just fine, but there's that talk. Everybody likes to talk about it. He'll be back. So, all right. I was going to say, let's take a break. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get Moats over because we got a punt Evan for a minute. So when we come back, the Almanac, Jeff Moats.
Oh, man. See, Nebraska cannot have a Scotty Scheffler-esque start on Thursday or I'll get nervous. If that Troy team starts feeling like they can compete,
yep,
if they feel like they're in the game,
yep,
ooh, I get nervous.
I don't know. They got to just go out there and just play loose. Just play basketball, man.
I'll get Mozi's computer set up.
10:40, 10:45. Okay, so we're gonna go to Moats. He's gonna come over.
Elijah,
I made it back.
you made it back in one piece.
Barely. I'm not sure how much you're listening. Scariest drive of my life.
Well, you know what? Even driving around Lincoln yesterday, I had to. My son Jared was with me, and we had to go run some errands, and it was like, oh my gosh!
I wouldn't have.
Just trying to stay on the road, even in town.
What is this?
I was fish channel all over the interstate because the wind was just blowing.
Well,
around.
it was worse over there, of course.
Western
Here,
Rail. I mean, they closed right after I made it through.
they shut off 80.
They shut down 80 from Council Bluffs to Des Moines. 100 and something miles.
Did you come back that way, go by Underwood? You didn't take A80 and get off in North Omaha?
No, I stayed on and then got off at the outlet malls and went down Highway 6 because that was all closed down. Okay. Are you sending on stream down here, Melissa?
Hi, Jeff. It says. Here.
Ben Prater. What up, Ben? All right. What up, Ben? That is something we have to make sure all of our, if you have significant others, are ready for, is the unproductive couch hoops watching time. Get it pre-approved now.
Perhaps.
Pre-approved.
Are you going to be with us Thursday?
You mean get? I was thinking about you. Ask him.
Okay. Could we get a hit from somewhere down there?
Oh yeah. Yes. Yes.
Here we go.
Yes. Welcome back in the morning hookup. Thanks for hanging out with us. FedEx 10 I used to be proud of that driving skill. And trust me, I have a professional driver. Nothing to be proud of. Glad you made it safe. Ben Prater, what's up, brother? He said the players Spurs getting their bracket spot into the USA baseball game made for a hell of a day. Always a positive when the kids are in it, and the wife supports all Cal tribe, especially. Hopefully, she's ready for March Madness. That is, you get it pre-approved from your significant other if you have. Know that it's unproductive.
We didn't talk about this before we get to more. How do we feel about Nebraska being the 11-40? We kind of glossed over that one.
I don't like
being the
it.
second game of the day, midday.
Well, if you're a Nebraska fan and you feel confident, you want to get the game out of the way, it's the perfect time.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got the rest of the day to watch everybody else play.
Yeah.
The one that people are going
Selfish.
to be being forced to take off a half day at work or a full day at work. That is going to change. It's going to be a very unproductive day in Lincoln, Nebraska for businesses out there.
I was selfish.
But
selfishly, I would love the 3:10 of the second session.
Oh,
you playing your own clip?
No.
I'm kidding.
I inadvertently hit a link on Twitter.
The thing about that game, yeah, you get out of the way early. There's not much stress. Hey, and whenever people out there as a country are ready for March Madness, it's going to be a game that a lot of people tune in for.
I think for a lot of folks, it's an escape.
considering what
I would just again, you're going down. We're going down Wednesday. Safe travels, everybody going down there. Get there safely. Selfishly, I would love that 3:10 because I would have left on Thursday morning versus leaving Wednesday afternoon.
You got your room booked and everything.
Yeah, I called this morning and got the Wednesday room added to it. So.
Are you staying down in the Bricktown area?
We are staying down in Bricktown. This is my first adventure, by the way, to there. I've never been.
You've never been. You know what? Oklahoma City is really a neat town. To me, it's so spread out because you look at the Oklahoma City metro area, it encompasses like 2 or 3 different counties because it gets into there's Canadian County to the west, Cleveland County to the south, which is where Moore and Norman are at, and then Oklahoma County is where Oklahoma City is based in.
And then it's interesting because Norman is like kind of part of the metro, but it's like 45 minutes from downtown.
Right.
Town.
It's out of ways.
Yeah, very spread out city, but it does kind of give me Omaha's not the best comparison because Columbus, Ohio kind of feels like Omaha, I thought.
Omaha, to me, Omaha anymore takes up over almost 3/4 of Douglas County.
Yeah.
And then you don't count Sarpy County because Omaha proper cannot go outside of Douglas County. Yeah. But if you count the suburbs like Papillion, La Vista, Bellevue, Gretna, then you add into the metro itself. Obviously, you go across River, Council Bluffs, but Oklahoma City is pretty well spread out. It is. I mean, it's a big city.
It's probably size-wise about the size of Kansas City, but it's smaller population-wise, if I remember correctly.
It's a little less than 1 million.
And let's be honest, I want to go down on Wednesday. That way I could wake up in prime before versus driving right into a city to quickly prime.
Bricktown area is neat.
Hopefully they're ready, and hopefully they get open up early enough for Nebraska fans down there. But boy, I tell you what, let's turn our attention to right here locally. What a dynamic state boys basketball week that you guys had.
Oh man,
the games that you covered, and I guess a lot of champions that we'll get to. I think the talk of this one is going to be the Class A state champion, Lincoln Southwest, first champion since 2003. Here out of Lincoln, first time somebody's played it since 2009.
In Southwest, to me, Motsi, what they showed is the resiliency. Friday against West Side, I was listening to that drive into Chicago, streaming KFORnow.com, and the comeback they showed late, that 10-0 run in the fourth quarter to take control of that game, that was special. And then they got off to a bad start on Saturday morning. They found themselves down, but then they were right back into that game by halftime, and they really kind of took control of that thing in the second half.
They got to a bad start, but give South credit. They could shoot the rock. They were shooting the three big time early.
They were getting up early, and those guys, I mean, they'd start out in a 12-3 spurt there. Mm-hmm. You know, obviously, Dakari Wilson hit the opening 3 of the ball game, and then 12 straight points rattled off by Papio South. The Falkenberg kid, I thought, shot the ball well for a big man. Webb is pretty solid. Alderson was a very good guard for them. The other kid, Beckenbauer. Yep. He was another one that could shoot the ball. I mean, all those guys really shot the ball well. But then Southwest found a way, especially when they cut it close to halftime. They're down 1. They got things going in the third quarter, and that's when their transition game got out and got going and took control. And that kind of flipped it. And Southwest got in front. Papio South wouldn't go away. They were trying to hedge front in front of Southwest. And Silverhawks just did the right things at the right time. They hit the big shots. Now let's give credit to some guys off the bench. Creighton Meyer had a couple of big baskets.
That spin move.
Oh, that was crazy.
I mean, it was insane. And he's the type of guy. I know the kid really well and the family, but could you see the energy after that move?
Oh, the energy was unbelievable after that. And so, to see Southwest go out there and go basically untouched through districts, through state, and get their first ever state basketball title. That was incredible. One of the best runs I've ever seen at the state tournament.
Well, and we saw their talent through December, through January. They kind of felt like they took their foot off the gas a little bit in February. but then they were playing their best basketball come state tournament time. That win against Westside, they got redemption from a game that we had here on KF4 earlier this season.
The Broken Rim game.
Yes, and Southwest struggled on the glass. They struggled to handle that size of Westside. That was a team effort on Friday. That's the game that stands out even more to me than Saturday. I know Saturday's a state title game,
yes,
but that game against Westside, when they won that, I knew what was going to happen on Saturday. I knew they were going to win that game because that Westside game, that felt to me like the real state title game.
What did I tell you?
I have a text.
What did I tell you on Friday?
Let me look up the Moats text. It's documented. It said this came at 3:03
Friday afternoon.
Lincoln Southwest will win the whole thing tomorrow. Was it 3:03?
Because we were talking about it off air Friday that the winner of that West Side Southwest game was going to win the state tournament because both of those teams, it seemed, out of the 8 teams that made the field, both of those teams were red hot. Now, Lincoln High, to be fair, Lincoln High was hot coming into the state tournament as an 8 seed. And it would have been so nice to see Lincoln High in that semifinal with Southwest. It really would have. And even, whoever would won that game probably would have won the state tournament. But the 4th seed does it. The 1 seed goes down in the semifinal. And I think Papio South was the 6th or 7th seed. And, those 2 teams met in the finals, and the 4th seed wins the state tournament. So big congratulations to those folks over there at Southwest.
And I know the Sanders brothers were spectacular, but Dakari Wilson was the guy who stepped up and kind of won that tournament for Southwest, sets the record for most threes in a state tournament. He was special. And just hearing that stat, you go, okay, that's pretty special. He was hitting him from 30 feet.
Oh,
it was Steph Curry, Steph Curry.
I'm watching this. I'm like, the kid stepped in the gym and he was in range.
Because you went down and saw that game Friday afternoon.
Both of, yeah,
you saw both
the semis and the finals.
By the way, this is the first time, not only in 23 years, that a Lincoln boys team from LPS wins Class A. It also marks the first time since 2003 that both a boys and girls team from Lincoln won the state tournament in Class A. The last time in 2003, it was the Lincoln High boys that won. The week before, it was Lincoln Southeast.
Wow.
And it was Southeast and girls in 2003 that beat East in the final. And then East wins it the following year. And then Northeast wins it the following year. So you had 3 straight seasons where you had girls teams from Lincoln that won the Class A title. And that was kind of another big period of time where girls basketball in Lincoln was pretty dominant too. So, but the capital city's been put on the basketball map again. You got basketball, you got baseball. Now you got to look at football. Volleyball's been up there in recent years. Lincoln Southwest won it not that long ago. And Norris has won it the last couple of years. But now you look at football. Now Waverly wins it this past fall. Okay. They're within reach of us, within Lancaster County. Now the city of Lincoln in football has got to step it up this next season. And I think East is a favorite right now. I think Southeast will rebuild. Southwest could be in the hunt too. I know we're very early about this, but something to look forward to. But everybody, we're all hearing about Millard South. I mean, we're all hearing about them again. So
Millard South, I know they make the headlines for bringing in Trey Taylor and Tay Ellis.
Yeah,
they have a lot to replace on that roster. A lot.
They graduated 11 or 12 seniors, and all of whom are going on to play either major Division I college football or 1A or whatever.
And don't get me, I still think they're the most talented team in the state going into this season, but they are not what they were last season.
So anyway, but yeah, we want to thank everybody all season that listened to our coverage from football all the way through this past Saturday for the state basketball tournament. Over 70 years we've been under the Sportscasters Club format, I should say. Over 70 years we've been covering, Lincoln area boys and girls basketball, football, all the way to the state tournament and state championships. And we put it away for, the rest of spring, summer, and then we get ready for football in the fall. And we probably won't have our first football game until the first full weekend of September because we got Salt Dogs baseball.
That's right.
That we'll have at that point.
Again, we got the Almanac Jeff Moats hanging out with us. We got Class A. Congrats there to that historical run by Lincoln Southwest. Talk about the B bracket. That thing got flipped upside down.
Well,
on the semifinal Friday.
And we did that Norris Scottsbluff game, and I'm going to tell you right now, fellas, Nate Kelly, he's an impressive player.
Yeah, UNK got a steal.
UNK, and this is a kid that probably, if he had a few more inches in height, he could be at the next level.
He could still be,
and still could be
at UNK.
He could, you know what? He could be there at UNK. And what's not to say that, let's say Omaha has a couple of spots open. What if he wants to go to Omaha and play at the Division I level, go Summit League, or South Dakota State, South Dakota, any one of those schools? They would take a kid like him from Western Nebraska and go play. Who was the kid from Kimball that played up at South Dakota State? Take another kid from the western part of Nebraska that went on and played and had a great career and helped, South Dakota State to the NCAA tournament. So, I mean, he's a kid that, for Scottsbluff, he's the straw that stirs the drink. And he had 26 points against Norris on Friday night.
It's Mike Dom.
That's it, Mike Dom. Thank you. And I thought he was very impressive. Now, was he able to grab jerseys and stuff? He probably should have been picked up for some offensive fouls and stuff like that. But he's such a good player.
Mike Dom now playing in Japan.
Yeah, professionally over there. And so I thought Nate Kelly was impressive. Norris had a great effort, though, late. It just was too short. But the problem was for them down the stretch was free throws. And that was a problem for a lot of teams at the state.
Oh, man, I saw so many missed free throws and bunnies at the bucket.
Oh, man. And I don't know, and I'm sure coaches preach their kids, shoot free throws before you go home. Hit 10 free throws or try to hit as many as you can. Work on that. But there were some teams at the state tournament that were just, man, this is horrible. If you're averaging 61% as a team, free throw shoot, if you're not in the 70s or above, that could be a problem. And there were some good teams that they were in their 60s in terms of overall free throw percentage.
They struggled to extend leads or close out games,
right?
Missing those,
and there were so many missed opportunities that
Scottsbluff goes on to win Class B.
They beat Elkhorn North, who upset Scott. And that was the game to watch Friday night, was that game. That was a fun game to watch. Caught that in overtime. And so Scott goes down, could not get their fourth state championship bid, and now we have a new state champion all the way out in the Panhandle for the first time in 14 years, and that's Scottsbluff.
Also looking down as well, as there was a ton of champions around C1. Ashland Greenwood goes out and gets it done again against DC West, who upset Okolala the day before.
And Douglas County West led most of that C1 game on Saturday. When I got down there for the A game on Saturday, DC West was up 4 or 5 points, but they led by
further ahead.
They were up by as much as 10, I believe. And then Ashland Greenwood, man, there's a reason why that program has become kind of a hot spot in C1, especially in this area. I mean, they
3 and 4 years.
I believe so. Yeah, they're good. So, congratulations to them with a terrific ending to their season. And now we turn our attention to baseball and track and the warmer weather sports. It's far from it outside.
Look out there today.
It's like 15 right now. Ooh.
We should have come to expect it. It's Nebraska.
It is.
Well,
every time you think spring's coming around, here comes like that April snowstorm to punch you in the face.
Right. Yeah. But the first baseball and soccer games of the spring are on Thursday.
This week?
This week. They get going.
You're talking about mid-80s, baby.
Now they're 80 on Thursday, 86 on Friday.
Let's go.
That's the type of weather.
Who kicks it off for us?
Well, we'll be following. I'm trying to think who we got that we'll be following here. I think Southeast and Northeast play on Thursday. I mean, that's the one over at Den Hard Talk. But I'll have to get my schedule finalized and let you guys know. But we'll be
what have you been doing?
What have I been doing? I've been doing work. I have work. I actually do work. I don't just crack the microphone to talk about sports.
Wow. He's looking at us.
I actually do work.
I mean, wow.
I do work around here.
This is the end of Jeff
I
Notes in
earn-
the Almanac.
I
You can catch him on nowhere.
I thought we should have him sit in a little side studio with all the high
he's
school
gonna
sports
sit over there.
records.
He's gonna sit.
I'm going to sit in the corner.
Yeah, we're gonna put the dunce hat on him and sit him in the corner, demanding an apology.
Now, did you,
I write stuff down.
I know.
did you guys go to school whenever they still had the done set?
No.
No,
okay.
that was.
Are you serious? We're not that old.
I don't know if it was probably a couple years removed, probably.
No. We always had, what was it? The quiet room. What? Like in junior high, if you got in trouble or disruptive, you got sent down to the quiet room, which was a room that was near the principal's office that, you had to sit there and then
Like
either
count to 10.
No, I mean the administrators, you have to sit out a whole class period.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, we had ours was called the timeout room.
Well, your generation, yes.
Yeah.
Ours was a quiet room.
I got sent there a couple times.
What would you do to disrupt class?
A lot.
Being a 15-year-old boy,
I was chatty.
Yeah.
See, there was one
Passing
time.
notes, weren't you passing notes?
No, I was never that. I was always the
Check yes or no.
making funny little comments after a teacher said something, which now I've made a career out of it. Like making a funny little comment after someone that says something. That's radio, but you do that in school and you make the whole class laugh, and now you're getting sent down.
You should go back and tell that teacher, see what you did? You're stunting my growth.
See.
You know the Billy Madison part where he goes to high school and he turns that one girl sitting next to him and he says, "No, I won't make out with you." That sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
We had a kid that did something like that, but he didn't say make out. It was kind of in context of participating in some spirits. And he turned around to another kid and said, he said that, and we all just lost it.
Shock value.
And he got sent to the quiet room.
You see, I know one day I got sent to the timeout room because
I can't believe they called it a timeout room.
It was we were going through the illicit drugs unit in health class, and I made a funny little comment about was it angel dust, PCP, something like that. I made a funny little comment, and the teacher didn't appreciate that. So
Elijah, go to the timeout room.
The worst one time I got sent there during a lunch period, and you had to sit there during lunch too. And so I was like 90 minutes of just sitting in this room with nothing to do. And for me, I was
how long did you get for lunch?
30.
Why'd you sit for 90? You had to time out that long?
The full class period.
And
full class period's like 45, 50 minutes.
Plus the lunch period. I mean, I was stuck in there for a long time. And I was also like, I was in like some of the more difficult classes given the circumstance of
that would be called accelerated.
Yes, I was. So I'd go down there and be like the type of projects that I was working on there they were not made for me. So I was just sitting in there as an exercise in boredom.
You've come a long way.
If I was listen, the folks like us that are in radio, I don't think.
Well, you were destined to be in radio.
Yeah, because I was always like, making funny little comments to teachers.
You were destined to be. So do you have a end of the year basketball quiz for Moats over there?
Well, I thought you'd save it for Friday.
You could save it for Friday,
or you could do 2 in 1 week. It doesn't matter.
Okay, I will. It's not basketball. We have baseball coming up.
Okay.
We're gonna transition. And this is actually a wild stat. I'll piggyback off this in a second. But who has the most strikeouts in a career in boys high school baseball in Nebraska?
In terms of a pitcher?
Yes.
I'm going to say
it's relatively recent.
I love how he's so smart that he clarifies pitcher.
When you say recent, how recent?
2007.
Okay.
07 to 2010 was his career.
Oh boy. Was it Kyle Kubat?
It was not.
What class are we talking?
Class B.
Class B. Oh, yeah, it's helpful. Okay.
Probably a kid from Scud.
This is a tough one.
Kid from Roncalli? Pius?
It's not a real local school. Oh, kind of. It's
probably, if you didn't have the name pulled up here, would you know who the name is?
The name, no. The city, yeah.
Okay. This is a tough one, Mo.
This is good stuff.
You want a hint on the school?
Yeah.
Nebraska City.
Did he pitch at Nebraska?
I'm not sure.
We have
I think he might have been a Nebraska commit.
We have a
we have a guest from the stream.
Yeah. He said
Logan Ehlers.
Oh yeah.
Ben said, "What do I win?"
Yeah.
Ben got it.
You are pre-approved to sit
He
out.
stumped the moats.
Logan Ehlers.
Stump the moats.
He had 525 strikeouts.
That's right. He did play at Nebraska.
Yes.
In his career.
And I did see him pitch when he pitched for Nebraska City.
Okay.
And he
then
was for real.
The record in Class A, so Logan had 525. The record in Class A was 298. So he.
Wow.
And when was that accomplished?
That was Kyle Baker.
Oh, Kyle Baker.
Yeah.
Kyle Baker pitched at Georgia Tech. A very good pitcher at Millard West back in the early 2000s.
Well, look at that.
Finally.
He did go on to play 4 seasons in the minors.
Who? Kyle Baker?
No,
or Logan Ehlers.
Ben said that's because I was one of his Ks. That is the best.
There it is.
Ben, you're the best.
All righty.
So,
back to
all
work in the newsroom.
Moats is out of here. He'll be back Friday. We'll be probably talking some baseball on Friday, but we're closing the book on a great state champion a couple of weeks with these guys. Moats, thanks you, brother.
You bet.
All right, that's the Almanac Jeff Moats. When we come back, we will talk baseball with Evan Blam, the Omaha World Herald.
Forgot about him. I forgot about Logan Ehlers.
Moats is mad now.
Oh. He was tough, man.
525 strikeouts.
That's sick.
525?
He was good.
Good Lord.
He's a good pitcher. I forgot about Kyle Baker, too.
What's the record for strikeouts in a game? Is that up there?
Yikes.
Does he also have that one?
I bet I can find it.
How much did you have? These are just type. Is this the type of information you need when you're filling out your bracket?
Well,
you see what I'm reading? Alabama basketball player Aiden Hollowell was arrested this morning on a first-degree possession of marijuana charge. Jeez.
Yeah, I don't know if he'll play.
Yikes.
Well, strikeouts in a 9-inning game or a 7-inning game?
7.
Logan Ehlers had 21 strikeouts.
Yikes.
In 2009 against Crete.
Oh, what?
The final score was 4-0. He faced 22 batters and a no-hitter, 1 out on a line drive. So he got 1 out and struck everybody else out.
Had 22 outs in a 7-inning game? That math's not mathing.
That isn't math. How's that
That's
work?
what it says.
Drop third strike? Maybe drop third strike where I got to first.
Yeah.
Faced 22 batters and a no-hitter.
Yeah. And that only way it could be.
Or a walk. Oh, no, because 21 strikeouts. It had to be a drop third strike.
Yeah. That's the only way it can be.
Yeah, 22 outs. If there's 22 outs, it had to be a drop third strike.
Huh. Yep.
And I don't know if this counts, but Lad Nemechek in 1960 had 27 strikeouts in a 9-inning game.
So he just struck out everybody.
Yeah.
Huh.
I think how we look at this. How do we want to look at this? We're talking baseball. A much needed sweep. It's a good weekend for the bullpen, you know? Talking baseball.
Oops. Sorry. Man, I need some coffee.
You missed it this morning?
I'm fading.
Welcome back in the morning hookup. A few moments left. Hanging out with you guys. Special thanks to Jeff Motes hanging out with us. We'll go to the phone and our guy from my World Herald, Evan Bland. Evan, happy Monday.
Happy Monday, guys. Can you hear me?
We can. Thanks for joining us this morning. Hey, we'll get into baseball and the sweep that was this weekend. And you've been around these parts for a long time. Went to the, there and stuff. But when you look at Nebraska basketball and you're looking at it and you're sitting there maybe watching Selection Sunday, where does this rank from a sports perspective for you, the anticipation level of that Selection Sunday yesterday?
Well, it was unique. Like it would have been a different kind of moment if Nebraska were on the bubble and you didn't know if they were going to get in or what that would look like. But it was highly anticipated. It was, are they going to be a 3? Are they going to be a 4? Where are they going to go? Of course, who is the opponent going to be? And I thought it added to it as well, just by the fact that it took to the 4th region for Nebraska to be revealed. And so it was sort of this slow realization that, they're going to probably end up at Oklahoma City. And, it's maybe going to be just a handful of these possibilities and how it's going to play out. So, yeah, it was very exciting. Like people watch the selection show every year anyway, and it's always fun. And there's just something different about it when you see your team pop across the screen there. And so Nebraska knew they were in. I think one of the players put on social media, "Why am I so nervous?" Even though I know, that we're in at this point. So it doesn't happen a lot around these parts for Nebraska, and even less does it happen when you're going to be seated as highly as you are and be favored to make some history right out of the gate. So, you think about like just some of the national things. Nebraska football hasn't been in the CFP talk really since it's existed, and basketball is kind of that next thing. So it was a very exciting moment, kind of the culmination of a few months of exciting basketball, and sets the stage for whatever the heck's coming this weekend.
Evan Bland with us here from the Omaha World Herald. And Evan, before we dive into Nebraska basketball, the matchup, and some Husker baseball, quickly got to ask you, and I know we're kind of up against it here, so quickly, how many brackets are you allowed to fill out for March Madness?
Oh, just in general? 2 or 3, I suppose. I think you have, I've always been a believer, you have one that you do with your heart, and then you have one that you do with your head. And so maybe 2 in that regard. You have the one where you'd love it to play out a certain way. And if you're a Nebraska fan, you've got them going, to the Elite 8 or whatever. And then you probably have the one where you're a little bit more beholden to the numbers and the probabilities, and you're trying to win money or whatever. So I guess I'm going to go 2. And then you just have to decide. You can be in as many pools or contests as you want, but I'm going with 2. And then you let the chips fall where they may.
You have a serious one, then you can have a fun one, but you can't put the fun one into any serious bracket pools, is my take. If you're in serious bracket pools, you got to ride with that one serious bracket.
Yeah, and except what's always funny to me is when you have that one underdog, the year George Mason made it, and you look at the national percentages, and it's all the alums from George Mason did it, that kind of thing. So if Nebraska, you have a decision to make, right? Because if Nebraska goes on a run, not just wins a game, but goes on a run, and you didn't pick them to win as a fan, you feel like you may be missing out on something. So I think you'd probably rather err on the side of picking them and then them falling short than going the other way.
Evan will transition into Nebraska baseball. They're coming off a sweep against Maine, and they're also riding a 9-game winning streak right now. What's been what's been propelling this team on this win streak, and how can they keep riding this momentum?
Well, candidly, they played teams that aren't great, and they played them all at home. So that's a heck of a start. But, yeah, I mean, you beat 3 Summit League teams in the midweek rally and beat Maine in all 3 games. You got 3 walk-offs in this streak as well. So I think it's a mix of everything. The offense is doing enough, and sometimes more than enough. Your starting pitching has been solid. I think for some of the bullpen rough patches, I think they're also finding relievers that they can trust. more in certain situations. And so, like, I'm never going to, especially in college baseball, come down on the side of like, wow, it took 2 walk-offs to beat Maine. Like, this happens in the sport all the time. Maine's going to upset somebody at some point in the year. Like, there are just games where errors happen or guys get hot or the weather's doing something. And so every team is going to have a few RPI black spots every year. And to Nebraska's credit, they haven't had one yet. And the opportunities for those were quite honestly on this homestand. And so for the fact that they were able to go 9-0, and now you up the level of competition moving forward, it puts them in a great spot. You talk about 5-game swings in college baseball, deciding whether you host or whether you go on the road versus whether you even make the tournament. Like, these are the kind of games that you win that puts you on the positive side of that ledger.
Evan, you mentioned those about like somebody like, well, you had to do this against Maine, but how important is it? You look at the sport, it's a tough sport anyway, but how important, and I think you learn a lot about yourself in games like these where you have to come from behind or things like that, or, or the resiliency to actually overcome some of these deficits that they were in.
Yeah, totally. And like, you just, ultimately you got to beat the teams that you're supposed to beat. And some days you're going to do it in runaway fashion. You're going to run rule somebody and it's going to look great. And then there are going to be those games where, hey, the opponent is playing okay, and maybe, you're hitting the balls at guys or they're getting a few fortunate swings or whatever, and you have to find a way. And so, obviously Nebraska did that in major fashion in the second game of that doubleheader Saturday, where you're down 7-3, and you could just kind of feel like Maine was kind of nervous on the other side. They hadn't won a lot of games or been in these situations, and Nebraska settled in and passed the baton down the line and were able to get the walk-off eventually. So it is. It's huge. I always look at college baseball in kind of 2 ways. You've got the games like Nebraska had the first 3 weekends where you're building that resume and showing that you belong in the big group, and then the stretch that they just completed is the other end of that thing. You show that you belong by taking care of business. And, again, they had some walk-offs, they had some runaways, but ultimately they take care of business at home. They're still in that around 40 RPI range, which is absolutely a fine spot to be in mid-March. And now you get ready for Big Ten play every weekend. You've got quality midweek games, starting with Wichita State coming up. And it's, you're on that sort of road to proving that you're the best. Okay, now you've shown you can beat the teams at the bottom. Now that the competition level goes up and we start to have a better sense of where this Nebraska baseball team can finish.
It's Evan Blaine with us here. And Evan, last thought here, about 60 seconds left. Back to basketball, the matchup with Troy. What do you make of it?
Well, I'm not a huge Troy expert. I know that they're tall. They got have a pretty tall front court. A strength of theirs is offensive rebounding. Mm-hmm. So I don't know that plays great in Nebraska's favor necessarily. This isn't Texas A&M from a couple of years ago, but it does seem like a team that physically is going to be your equal or maybe slightly better than that, just because of their size and athleticism. And so I think you'd almost, we talked about this, I think last week, like the Iowa game to me becomes a little bit more valuable because of the way that Iowa defended so physically. Maybe they're not a great shooting team, but they're going to try to kind of muck up the game a little bit. I feel like Troy maybe has the potential to go down that road. So it's how do you get Price Stanford open? If he's not, how do you distribute the ball and find other shooters or cutters? And so I think it's probably going to come down to, can Nebraska limit the offensive rebounds, the second chance points for Troy? And can they have a decent shooting day when there's going to be some pressure to win that game down in OKC? So I don't think it's the runaway that you would expect from a 4 seed, but I think they'll have enough. But it's probably a matchup that's going to make the game a little closer.
Awesome. Hey, Evan, thanks for your time on a Monday, my friend. Take care of yourself. We'll talk to you real soon.
Appreciate you guys. Thanks.
You guys have a great Monday. We'll catch you on a Tuesday.